All right, this is Professor Denholtz. I'm going to be making a recording of Lab 1, Problem 1 in AutoCAD. So here is the object that we want to draw. I would note that they're recommending we use the line commands and the circle commands, so that's right at the top. It's usually a recommendation that's given for a handful of labs. It's not always given. And here we have the object. So a few things I want to note before I even start drawing. Usually you want to look at it and try and do a little bit of analysis, try and understand how you might draw it. So the first thing that I would do is I would draw the exterior, then the circle, and then the center mark. Now, we're given coordinates here, so we probably don't want to have our dynamic input turned on. Now, dynamic input is very helpful for drawing. If you don't know what that is, because this is the first lab, then you'll definitely be using it throughout the semester. If basically what it is when you're drawing, so right now it's turned off. You see how there's that like blue 11.1379. That's dynamic input, and basically that allows us to just type things in directly there, but sometimes you want to type things directly into the command prompt, and sometimes it gets a little bit confusing. Especially here where we're not going to be using the mouse as much, I'm going to be typing in these coordinates. So for that reason, I want to turn dynamic input off. Now dynamic input is this plus with the bar. It's blue when it's on, and then it's just a dark background when it's off. Now you might not see it at your bottom screen over here. If you don't see it, you have to go to this 3-bar customization and make sure it's checked. That means it's going to appear here, and you could toggle it on and toggle it off. Normally, we want to use it, but for this exact thing, I'm not going to use it. It's a little bit easier not using it. So that being said, now we have dynamic input turned off. I'm going to be typing in each one of these coordinates in order to make this exterior of straight lines. Now, one thing I would note is we're not given this corner point. But because these are each Cartesian coordinates, so they're an x-y pair, so x is the horizontal, you could actually see that over here. X is the horizontal and y is the vertical. We know that this is a horizontal line. That means the y is going to be the same, so it's going to be a y value of 2. Now, throughout the class, we're also going to talk about other assumptions that you can make. And in this case, I'm going to make the assumption, and this is an assumption that you can make, that here the x value of 8 we can use to infer this point. So the coordinate is going to be 8, 2 for that point. So let's go ahead and draw that exterior. I'm going to be typing in directly. So I'm going to use the line command. I'm going to hit enter. Then the first point is 2, 2, enter. The second one is 2, 9, enter. Third, 8, 9, enter. 10, 7, 10, 4, and then what do we say? 8, 2, so 8, 2, and then we're going to be going right back to the beginning, so 2, 2. And so now we've drawn that exterior. Now one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move the image to make it a little bit easier to see. You can use the zoom command, but I prefer just using my mouse. So first I'm going to pan it to the center of my screen. I'm going to do that by clicking down on the scroll wheel of the mouse, and I'm going to drag it so it's centered better. And then I'm going to zoom in by moving the scroll wheel. So now we could see it a little bit better. It's a slightly better drawing there. And the next part, I'm going to put a circle in here. So we're told that the circle is centered at 6, 5.5. And the diameter, that's what this symbol is. The circle with a line going through it means diameter, as opposed to radius, as an example. So the diameter is going to be 2.5. Now there's many ways to make a circle. The easiest one in this case, because diameter is given, is to use the option for a circle with diameter. So if you click down here, there's a whole bunch of different ways to make a circle. But we know where the center is located, and we know the diameter. That's what's given to us. And so I'm going to click on this, center diameter. That's how we're defining this command, the circle command. So I click on that, and it's going to ask me to specify the center. The center we know is at 6, 5.5. And now it's asking me to specify the diameter, which is 2.5. All right, good. Now we're almost done. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a center mark. There's multiple ways to do that. Typically, most circles or things that are radially symmetric, you usually want to center mark. And we can see that there's a center mark here. The center mark that I made this way, I made with a slightly different way, which we're going to see later. But for right now, we're just going to do it this way, center command, and then clicking on the circle, and there we have it. This is basically how you would do this exact lab.